We should start again. I hope that you have enjoyed the lunch and the event so far. So now we will move to our next session, which takes us deeper into the application of digital technologies to the vertical areas of culture, tourism, smart cities, and factories. So starting with culture, I would like to invite Mr. Christopoulos and Mr. Sofianopoulos from the Foundation of the Hellenic World to offer their perspectives of immersive technologies and digital culture. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this event. I'm George Sofianopoulos, and together with my colleague Dimitris Christopoulos, we are here on behalf of the Foundation of the Hellenic World. What we'd like to share with you today is how we create intelligent digital environments, places where cultural heritage, scientific research, and immersive technologies come together to tell stories that matter. The Foundation is a non-profit cultural institution officially established by the Hellenic Parliament back in 1993. Our mission is simple but ambitious: to safeguard Hellenic tradition and highlight the universal ideas it carries. And for us, technology isn't just a tool for display, it's a way to research, document, and keep the past alive in a meaningful, accessible way. Our cultural center, Hellenic Cosmos, we are happy to host this event here, is recognized as a national center of excellence in VR and AR. And from the very beginning, we didn't follow the traditional museum model. Our whole mindset was digital first, whether we were creating VR productions or designing exhibitions. Technology was always at the core. And with more than 100,000 visitors every year, our focus is turning historical data into interactive three-dimensional experience that people can actually explore. Our work is guided by three core principles that we strive to follow in every production, in everything we do. First is scientific accuracy. We aim to remain strictly faithful to the findings of archaeological and historical science. Second is a clear educational objective, ensuring our content meets established pedagogical standards. And finally, we utilize edutainment, where the power of interaction and narrative makes the learning process both engaging and memorable. One of the key shifts in our methodology is moving from simple documentation to what we call interpretive virtual reality. Documentation shows what survives. Interpretation lets us bring back what has been lost. And to achieve that, we don't only rely on our scientific team. Alongside the historians, archaeologists, architects who shape the content, we also collaborate with directors and screenwriters. Together, they help us turn solid research into a narrative experience that truly connects with people. Storytelling, the oldest human ritual, becomes the engine of the experience, creating empathy and giving the digital environment a sense of presence and immediacy. It also let us break linearity, moving across time and space, and reveal deeper historical relationships. And of course, we keep the human element. Our museum educators guide live tours at the Tholos, the full dome system we have at Hellenic Cosmos, and adapt the story in real time, depending on who is in the room. One thing that really sets our work apart is that we oversee the entire production pipeline. Our historians, archaeologists, architects, directors, screenwriters, and technical teams all contribute to a unified process that we manage end-to-end. This gives us a full control from the scientific foundations to the final immersive experience. The result is 3D models optimized for real-time systems using both our own graphics engine and commercial engines like Unity. This integrated workflow is what powers the immersive experience you see today here at Hellenic Cosmos, from our VR dome, the Tholos, to our expansion to mixed reality experience through various projects. Our methodology allows us to reconstruct both tangible and intangible cultural heritage. Our productions range from entire archaeological sites to rituals and traditional practices. From places like the ancient Agora of Athens, ancient Olympia, ancient Miletus, or Delphi, where only ruins survive, we recreate the original environments based on scientific research. For monuments that still stand, such as the monastery of Phosios Loukas, which was our latest production, we use photogrammetry and laser scanning to create highly accurate digital twins. Our work also includes major historical events like the naval battle of Salamis, as well as intangible heritage, such as the ritual of the Trophonius oracle or the mosaic and fresco techniques of Hagia Sophia. We also use augmented reality to enhance the experience in situ or to enrich educational programs we offer to school groups here in the Hellenic Cosmos. Looking ahead, we see these digital worlds becoming shared spaces, making cultural heritage accessible to audiences everywhere. And my colleague will continue and will tell you more about our vision for these shared digital environments. Dimitri, please come.
Okay, thank you, George. And now that we have covered our design principles, let's look a bit more about how and why we use virtual reality. So take a look at the Onyx Tower. This is in ancient Miletus. And looking at the ruins today, it's really hard to understand, about size, what's going on there. But as soon as we switch to one of our 3D reconstructions, where we can also navigate, it becomes the incentive of using 3D reconstructions become clear, because looking at the image, you understand history better. But why should a museum invest in a virtual reality system? So in essence, virtual reality systems maximize the knowledge transfer. So they are very good in transmitting knowledge because they facilitate immersion. They transform learning into an experience, and this is what we strive for, experiences. And because virtual reality systems also support group participations, the experience becomes a shared event, which then is even more memorable and has a greater educational impact. So here at the foundation, we have, over the last 30 years, we have experimented and used a lot of virtual reality systems. And I would like to show you the three major ones that we use today here. So starting, this is, we start here with Tholos Virtual Reality Theater. It's the big sphere that you see as you enter. This is the primary virtual reality system that we use here, and it was designed for a specific purpose, in order to facilitate the large group of visitors that we have here. We have here, as you saw this morning, we had a lot of groups, a lot of children, and we needed a system that could facilitate larger groups. And this is essentially a half sphere, a dome, which can host 135 visitors. And it encompasses your whole vision, 170 degrees. It features a 4K image. It has 5 projectors. It's a really quite impressive setup. But what makes it unique in Europe, maybe also worldwide, is that it is real-time capable. Essentially, in here, we show real-time interactive storytelling experiences, not movies. So, and furthermore, we have a guided experience, because a live human guide, we call them a museum educator, drives the narrative. So as you enter one of our productions, which are quite long here, 45 minutes each production, you will witness a live interactive experience guided by a human guide that also interacts with you. All seats have buttons next to it, so the visitors are asked to interact with the environment. And this is really important for us, because we notice that interaction leads to education, is the corner of learning. So As you saw, we create cities that don't exist anymore, or we create scans of existing buildings. And you can think of it as a digital twin. Essentially, we create digital twins of cities that do not exist anymore. And 135 visitors, along with a human guide, explore these digital twins and learn about what was happening there back then. So this is quite relevant to what we do here. And quite impressive is also the computing power that drives this virtual reality system. We can show movies. We can show real-time productions. We have a cluster-based system using our own engine. We can show Unity productions. So you bring me any Unity application, and I'm able to show it here with interaction. And you can bring me Unreal Engine productions, and we can show it also here. And the Dome is not only for educational purposes, but also for artistic ones. We host a game jam, a game hackathon here every year. So game developers come and peruse the Dome for 3 days and create games for it. And we are now in the third year, and they create very nice games for the Dome. So we opened up the Dome for the public, so to speak. Progressing to another system, our Cave VR room. This virtual reality system is probably the oldest one, I don't know, still in existence. It dates back from 1997. It was the first system that we used, and it's very effective. It's a very effective projection-based system because essentially it's a four-walled room, a 3x3 room. You enter. It has stereo projection. It has the possibility of user tracking, and it's superb for smaller groups. So 4 to 5 grown-ups can enter there, and they can collaborate, really meaningful, because you see each other. You can point at the virtual exhibit, and it's the epitome of visualizing your digital twin. And essentially, we drive it the same way. You have a human guide, and you can freely navigate around the virtual environment with interaction. And primarily, this system was used in simulation and industry, but we use it for 30 years now with great results for cultural heritage. So, and lastly, our, the smallest system we have is just a virtual reality Powerwall. This system is very low spec. It just features one stereo screen, one PC, and real-time navigation. But it's portable, and it can feature up to 40 to 50 visitors. And it might surprise you that this system is the most successful system that we have, because it has been deployed everywhere in Greece and a lot of municipalities due to its low maintenance, low cost, and easy installation. So something that we've learned here at the foundation is you can have the best technology, but it's worthless if it isn't suitable and usable. So a lot of museums and institutions make the mistake that if they want a VR installation, they get some headsets or maybe some single user tracking system, and this might look good in the inauguration or in the opening day, but in the day-to-day operations, they fail because they cannot handle the visitor bandwidth. So inevitably, these systems become obsolete and are not used at all. So we just don't design here for immersion. We design here for operation also. Okay, here's a small slide about what an institution is going to face if they want to use virtual reality for a couple of decades. All right, our first virtual reality system and production aired in 1997, 29 years ago, okay? And back then, there was no Unity, there was no Unreal, there was no computer graphics that you can buy. So we had to use military-grade hardware. We used the Silicon Graphics supercomputer to create our first virtual reality experience. We programmed the engine ourselves using IRIX. And we used it until 2005. So we had a lot of productions then. In 2005, Silicon Graphics, along with other supercomputers, went bankrupt. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that. So we were faced to transition all our productions to something new. So what we did is we created our own solution based on Linux and OpenGL, And we ported all our productions to a cluster-based setup, which means small computers, off-the-shelf computers that work together to create one image. This technology still works today. But during the pandemic, we saw that using Unity and using Unreal is much more cost-effective for creating productions. So we switched and created a Unity-powered machine that could power our dome. This is, you can see the PC here. It's a really beefy PC that can power the dome. And currently, we use this setup for our new productions, and we try to port all the older ones to Unity, and we're also in the process of creating our Unreal Engine cluster. So the story that you can learn here about from the slide is that there's a major problem for an institution. It has to keep relevant with hardware and software if they want to maintain their digital assets, and this is very, very costly. So, and also we have 30 years of experience in navigating all the difficulties of VR, but the foundation is the exception and not the norm. And the industry still faces a lot of bottlenecks that prevents the widespread adoption of virtual reality. And the pain points, they are visible, they are high costs, infrastructure complexity, need for specialized staff. But the emerging technologies that we discussed today here can lead to a paradigm shift, can help in mitigating all these problems. For example, cloud rendering. We discussed about IoT and cloud. We can offload all the heavy hardware and all the heavy software to the edge and to the cloud. So the institutions don't need to have clusters and expensive systems on site. And we talked about network optimization. So if we're able to have a really fast and stable network with APIs that we can use, maybe we can open up our virtual reality systems. Imagine someone who lives in Castellorizo or another remote island wearing a helmet and be able to come and visit us as we show our virtual reality production in the dome. So open up to visitors, to remote visitors. AI obviously can help in creating content. And XR and metaverse, we would love to have a standardized approach to remove the museum walls. So if you want to see the Agora, you have to come here. Imagine, and Mr. Ali from the speaker before showed us that we can also have meaningful and VR XR presentations on site. So it would be nice if we could show our ancient Agora VR installation and to the visitor visiting the ancient Agora in Athens. So moving towards the future, I hope that hardware will become lighter and software will become smarter as these emerging technologies try to lower the bar of VR for institutions. Thank you.
Next, we move to the tourism sector. And I would like to invite Mrs. Angeliki Eleftheriou, Chief Operating Officer of Moptil, to present XR-powered use cases in Greece and Malta. Angeliki?
Hello, and thank you for the invitation, and thank you, George and Dimitri, for the insightful presentation. It is indeed a great pleasure to be amongst like-minded people and organizations. We have been working together for quite some time with the foundation here, so it's a pleasure, and congratulations to Rula and the entire team Dido and everyone for the great organization. So insightful. So as we deep dive into the culture and tourism industry, let me introduce to you a concept that you might have heard as a use case all day. And I will not speak very technically, but rather urge you to imagine what would it be if history could speak. Imagine standing on the Acropolis. I don't know how many of you have been. I hope all of you, many times. Imagine bringing it to life, monuments, bringing to life the people, and how it would be, for example, if we could be at the inauguration of the Parthenon, as we see here in this 3D model, and we see Phidias showcasing the marbles to prominent people of the time. So these kind of storytelling visual materials can help us understand, as Yorgos and Dimitris previously also mentioned, help us understand and do this in a way that we can relive history and better understand it and learn it. And that's the idea of how Digipast came into life. Digipast is an application that's been around in various forms since 10 or 12 years ago, starting as a companion to guided tours for groups of visitors in archaeological sites all over Greece. So the idea and the concept behind it, how can we use technology to help us better imagine the past instead of sitting with pieces of paper, for example, of the golden statue of Athena, how we can bring this to life and attract more audiences and make the content even more attractive for more people. But at the end of the day, what this is all about and technology is all about the people and how they experience this on the site. This is a short video, we don't have the sound, oh yeah. Thank you. So we like it very much when other people talk about us and about the services that we have in such excitement. That's what gives us the motivation to continue working on this. Digipast has been working with major tour operators like TUI all over Greece for many years, and it has evolved into an application that's Scan and Go. So a web application that also has augmented reality content, virtual reality, and video storytelling. All the content is curated by archaeologists and scientifically proven in order to create material that's both educational but also fun. So, and remember that for the tourism, one of the major insights that we have seen over the years that maybe we don't have to overkill the technology, but rather use a fine combination that will give the impression of what the kid said. And this is how it started, basically. I very much like this picture, not only because they are kids, but it also showcases the tablets that we started with. So we started in the tourism industry exploring technology through tablets, which we rented as a bundle, and that had already built-in virtual reality applications with 3D reconstructions of monuments in several archaeological sites in Greece, but also in Spain. This particular one is from Cartagena in Spain. And what we're trying to do is bring the context into the visit to make it more memorable. And as we're moving on in the last couple of years or so, we have realized that in order to scale, both in terms of being able to deliver feature and deploy them, but also penetrate the market globally, which is what we're aiming to, is move from renting hardware into making bring your own device model. So at the palm of your hand, bringing all experiences, virtual reality, augmented reality, as well as AI chatbots for assisted guidance. This is what Digipast looks like today as it has evolved in a web app. We are continuously expanding, and what we want to do is work with all the stakeholders in the industry, which is a pretty tough one as all, but maybe I can share some insights about this as well. So it's a combination of earning the trust of tour guides, tour operators, the visitors themselves in a technology-friendly manner that's also sustainable, both financially but also environmentally. For example, we don't want to use extra hardware besides people's smartphones and headphones, and do it so in a sustainable manner and be able to reach as many people as possible through these devices. Because for us and for me personally, that's the win. These are some of the new features of DigiPass, augmented reality, just a little bit, and it's usually very impressive. That's from Madeira. Actually, you see Ronaldo. Ronaldo is from Madeira. I didn't know that. And also face filters that always bring a wow factor, and also 3D content that's also been curated by ecologists, but also filtered through AI. We have put together an AI team of developers, but also scenariographers and so on, that continue working on small storytelling clips. A little bit about who we are and how we started. As I said, we started out as a team since 10 or 12 years ago, aiming at providing the opportunity to as many people as possible to experience culture. So we like to see ourselves where technology and culture and tourism meet, the intersection of that. And we are now almost 15 people, including 3D artists, AI developers, XR developers, storytellers, and UI UX experts, which is really important and we should not forget because it can make a big, big difference. A little bit about where we are. Our projects are mainly in Greece at the moment. We have had projects in Malta and Italy, which I will showcase some examples in a few minutes. And we'd like to think ourselves as being at the forefront of what we do, because we really love what we're doing. Showcasing a little bit of our partners, working with big organizations that have a strategic interest in culture, such as Cosmote, delivering, being a technology partner for them for Cosmote Chronos, which I will explain a bit later, but also for the Hellenic Cosmos here, as you can see, but also for the tourism and travel industry, including the cruise, which is a really big portion of the Greek tourist inbound revenue. So, small examples from around the world. This is from Cartagena. This is the Roman Forum, a VR application of the forum. And now we have also expanded in another site there with the theater. This is virtual reality. And going to Greece, this is one of my favorite projects. It's very close to my heart. It's actually a free application. You can download it from the stores. It's called Naxos AR. And I don't know how many of you have been to Naxos and you know the Portara, just by the entrance of the port. Well, this used to be a door of a temple that was apparently never completed because they ran out of money, or the tyrant there was killed, I'm not sure. But we tried to bring it to life of how it would have been working with renowned archaeologists. And the process of doing that and creating this model that you see had to do with a lot of paperwork, going through books, going through text, and working with assumptions of the restrictions of the technology. As well as with what we knew from the archaeologist. And it's a very fun intersection of a 3D designer working with an archaeologist and a historian to bring this into life, which we later imported into Naxos AR. It was part of the initiative of Naxos Smart Island, an initiative to make the island smart by Amazon Web Services and the municipality there. Our experiences are both offered on-site for the tourism industry, but also off-site. A really nice use case for tourism is that many people are not capable to go up to the Acropolis or visit some place really high, and they'd rather sit at the coffee shop by the entrance, or maybe it's too hot. So, but they can still experience a little bit of the whole visit through an application, and of course give the opportunity to people that are far away, schools that are far away, the opportunity to immerse themselves into history. And this, when you visit on site, it's real size. So you can watch it real size, and it's huge. It's like the Parthenon size. And actually the door that exists there was not even the front door, it was one of the middle doors. So you can imagine how big the whole thing would have been. So it really helps the imagination. So does Cosmote Chronos, which was launched 3 years ago, May, I think just about, I think we have an anniversary. It was about the 3rd of May, if I remember correctly, or the 8th. It has a project that we had been working on for 2 years prior, where AR and AI chatbots were known to very few. And one of the projects that launched mainstream, it's a free app of augmented reality technology and AI chatbots for many people. It's available on the App Store and the Play Store. It has more than 500,000 of downloads since then, and it was the first step that also helped us to upgrade ourselves in terms of exploring the technology, because there was no handbook. We had to go through each and every cases, how many problems we had with XR in the beginning, and phones overheating, and people not realizing what they had to do, or 3D models looking black. I know that I'm hoping that some of you understand the problems here, because you're also in the XR area. So many obstacles, but the important thing is not to give up. And as I'd like to think that we continue to do. This is one of our more recent projects for the Ministry of Culture. It's a selection of 5 emblematic monuments across Greece, augmented reality again. Super high quality 3D models that are low poly and can work on any smartphone. That's one of the important things. And actually these are the 10, I don't know how to call it in Greece, eponymii Iroes, that used to represent the 10 tribes of Athens and are based in ancient Agora. And this is where people would gather to read the news of the day, of the laws, or any tax measures. So it was the place to be. And it's only ruins now if you visit Archea Agora. But with this application, the 3D models are superimposed onto the ruins. And let me state the importance of calibration here. Calibrating again and again and again to making sure that the model is sitting where it's supposed to be. So a little bit about tech stack. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. One of the major things that we have been investing is the web. Trying to do everything on the web to have the freedom to change things as we wish, and avoid any obstacles for adoption, like downloading apps and so on. And also using AI across. So for content creation, curated always, to digital assistants and chatbots that work in real time. This is another project. I'll take you to Malta now. This is a pilot project that we are currently working on and testing in Malta, at the Fort of Sant'Angelo, and some artifacts there that are also enhanced and brought to life with augmented reality, which I hope we will be launching soon, along working with Heritage Malta, which is the official cultural organization of Malta. All the organizations that wish to do such things, they really want to do it and believe that these provide added value to visitors, both young and older ones. And this is really important because it's an investment on all sides. It's not plug and play. This is another project that we did in Italy, in the Dolomites, for a museum that was producing milk back in the old days. Here, calibration was super important. What we did is we actually put the cottage cheese inside the bowls that were empty through the tablets, and also recreated how the butter was made on tables. Really important to do a lot of tasting. One of the insights here was the lighting. So they had to scan the floor, and it was dark inside, so we had to put special floor lighting to make sure that the tracking would work properly. Is what you see now, the 2 feet. And to wrap things up a little bit, the challenges that we face. So technology is all well, but working on it and creating use cases for tourism that actually be used on the field, it's a continual iterative process. So do something, try it out, work on it, change it again and again and again and again. We have to take into account a lot of environmental factors in tourism. I will show you a nice example afterwards. Working with a guided group of 50 people in the center of medieval Rhodes under the sun, trying to work with XR, for example, is not easy. It doesn't work for all devices. The sun is too much. You have to take that into account and be able to grow the fine line, to do the fine line between what technology can do and what creates a better experience for the people. It's an adoption process. It needs time for people to get used to it. When we first tested, I think I've spoken to someone about this before. When we first tested Cosmote Chronos back in 2022, we had focus groups and people didn't know what AR was. And they would sit on a table with the smartphones on the table, sitting on the table, and they would say, what do I need to do now? Things that may sound intuitive to some of us here are very hard to adopt. And also get the trust and the belief from various stakeholders and audiences. Who are we designing for, who's paying, and who we have to take into account. At the end of the day, it's all about the people. And this is a very nice example. So this is a stock image of a group of developers developing something in the office. We don't look as nice in the office. It's not as bright, but it's super nice still. And this is an example of a guided tour at the center of Rhodes. Very nice place, but you see how hard and what are the conditions under which a guided tour is made. So light, people walking off, adding something on top of what the guide should already have to do. So it's not the easiest thing, so that's why it requires a lot of testing. Background noise, other languages, wind, many things. This is also one of my favorite projects, again in Rhodes, augmented reality, a treasury hunt. We decided to do this as a separate side project, even though it's not our core business, to do a treasury hunt with augmented reality in Rhodes. It was not an easy task, a lot of testing required. A lot of things went wrong before we were able to launch this for tourist groups. And this is what the future looks like, as we believe. So it's all about sustainability. It's all about making it easy. It's all about being able to be both financially sustainable and environmentally sustainable, using applications that are mostly powered by AI. I shouldn't say that because it sort of goes on the background now, but being able to serve groups for us, serves groups of visitors with real-time translation in any language. So having a group, multilingual language, so anyone can join. Easy access, just scan and go and have it on your phone. And on top of that, provide curated content that stays with them. And that's a little bit of a premium that will make the difference. And this is the team that makes it work. And at the end of the day, it's all about the people. To make it work and to be able to deliver such fine projects. So thank you very much. I'll be around for any questions later on.
Professor Panos Parthenios from the Technical University of Crete will challenge us with multiple realities in digital culture. The floor is yours, Panos.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the invitation. So my name is Panos Parthenios, and I come from a similar world but different world from the beautiful things we just saw. I come from the academia. So our digital media lab in the School of Architecture in the Technical University of Crete, we do quite similar things, but from a different perspective, because our power is the students. So there's a lot of advanced 3D modeling, photogrammetry, virtual, immersive, augmented, XR, all kinds of applications, and lots of research on music and architecture, because the core is architecture, but we do lots of cultural stuff too. But the main idea is that we use classes, we use workshops, forums, and innovation ideas through the students to learn. But the most important part for our work is this very thin line that lies between digital and analog. This is a very old slide I used to discuss about already like 25 or 20 years ago. How do we, zoom in and zoom in and zoom in into this thin line? But now actually this thin line has become more about the very thin world in between physical and immersive worlds, which is a hybrid kind of worlds that we all understand from all these beautiful applications that we look at. So it's very interesting, how do you design space in this thin line between those two kinds of places? Very quickly, just a few examples of our work with cultural institutions like galleries and museums, with our students of architecture. One example is the GR Realities, a tool set for the Greek Revolution. After creating various digital twins of the municipal gallery of Chania in Crete, we gave the tool to the people who run the space, but also to the visitors to explore more things than just the actual artifacts. For example, this is a rare artifact, a rare sculpture from Tilemachos Gizis, the Little Maestro. So the idea is that the visitor can see the actual very special artifact being alive and moving towards an AR painting, which is the sculptor's father, Nikolaos Gizis' Spring Symphony. So you see the sculptor going ahead and moving ahead and going to its father's painting to do the Spring Symphony. So kids get into this kind of gamification in order to go closer, as you all know. But what's important for us as designers, both in real space and in the virtual space, is that once you create those digital twins of the, let's say, the galleries, you have chances to overcome the physical barriers. So for example, when there was this exhibition of John Craxton in the Municipal Art Gallery in Chania, people had the chance to go through an AR secret door and move from this building to the artist's studio, which was a secret, closed, non-visible, and nobody can visit actually this little space in the center of the old city of Chania, which was John Craxton's studio. It's where the artist used to work. So while you're at the gallery and you can see the paintings, you can transcend, let's say, to the artist studio. So you start switching spaces, and that gave us the idea that we can now start creating different hubs of cultural spots. And we collaborated with the municipality in Chania to create a cultural collection in virtual reality. So now you have the ability to connect different libraries, galleries, the Center for Mediterranean Architecture. And what would you do with all that? People would visit, let's say, a library in Chania. They go through books, and while they read in the book something about a painter, they can transcend to the municipal gallery and see their paintings. And from there, they can read something about architecture, and they can move to the building of the Center of Mediterranean Architecture. So you begin to connect spaces, and you begin to create new kinds of spaces which are not real and do not have the physical barriers. And all these ideas and applications have been performed and produced by our students and colleagues, professors at the university. But I want to come to my main thing today, which is our collaboration with the Greek National Opera. This all started while we were under COVID. So we had this idea of having a virtual studio for architects that they could put their headsets on and work on a real scale model. So GNO, the Greek National Opera, and Stavros Niarchos Foundation learned about this, and they said, well, if you can do that for architects, why don't you do that for us, for the opera, so we can create a digital twin of the opera and create a tool where we can perform rehearsals. And here I will begin to explain what my main argument is today about how many realities do we need, because when you create digital twins, which is one of the main subjects of what we're hearing in this beautiful gathering here, is that our argument is we don't need to have all kinds of realities. We need to select what kind of realities we do need. So when, for example, you create a digital twin of the space in a very big institution like this, the Greek National Opera, this is just a digital twin, but for the tool to perform a rehearsal, you need different things. You don't need super realism. You need other things to be able to do that. So our goal over these 2 years, and now we're delivering that next month, is to create a tool where all parts of the entities from the Greek National Opera, the conductor, the costume designer, the light designer, the sets designer, the maestros could load the sets into a VR environment and connect from various places of the world in order to perform a rehearsal. The Greek National Opera is the first globally to do that. There are a few other attempts like the Finnish Opera where they have a digital twin, but not for rehearsals. Rehearsal is a different mindset. You can control the lights, you can control the objects. You load all the objects into a web platform of a specific play, obviously, like Falstaff in this case. You can see beforehand from various areas and various seats in the opera how the set design looks like. And you save so much time, so much money by doing that, because as you probably are aware, the whole set of the real set with the real materials and the real rehearsal becomes available only a couple of weeks or months before the actual show. So with this tool, you're able to do that many months or years beforehand, and you can reuse many parts of the set. So that was a very interesting collaboration with the Greek National Opera. But while we were doing that, because, as I said, we are a research academic institution, we wanted to do more. We wanted to push technology a little bit more and burn a few computers. So while we had the digital twin of the space, of this beautiful space by Renzo Piano, as you know, it happened to be the 100 years for Maria Callas. So we said, let's do something else. Let's take architecture and music. We do lots of research on that with PhD students and try to visualize the voice of Maria Callas on VR. So that was a very interesting moment where we did a workshop, an intense workshop inside the GNO for 7 days. And various, we can hear a little bit of the sound, please. Various artists that were invited, one of them is actually here today with us, sat down with us and played with tools like algorithmic tools that would allow to play with the parameters of the sound and the parameters of the space, and try to see how does the various areas or specific areas of Maria Callas through Touch Designer, which is an algorithmic software, transcend and transform the space. The output was a set of installations that were displayed on the foyer of the GNO for 2 weeks. This you can see only, let's please hear the sound. You can only see a 2D representation of a VR environment. So visitors would listen to the areas, the specific areas, and would understand how the space was transformed based on the parameters of the sound. So this was only parts of 2 of the works that were exhibited. You can imagine 5 of them. People would go there, put their headsets on, and experience this in VR. It was very, very interesting. We almost burned a few very, very expensive computers in order to do that, but we managed to survive. And we learned a lot at the end of the day, because we pushed technology beyond its limits. And continuing our collaboration with GNO, we also did an AR application, because GNO has a very rich archive for many decades with costumes, photos, videos, sounds, models, tickets. And the idea is, how do you bring this out to the city? So again, through some workshops at the School of Architecture, we understood how various pieces of art from their archive could connect to specific places in the city, in Athens. So we tried to correlate the story of very historical productions with specific spots that had to do something with the story. This is an application that's going to become available in a few months, but just to showcase a few of those spots of moving around the city. For example, this is in Metropolis Street, Agia Dynami. It's a specific spot that had to do with the opera Madame Butterfly, and the whole idea is how do you connect the West and the East. So you see the actual space, but you also see part of the sets. Or for example, the Herodion stairs, where when the visitor approaches the Herodion, could understand that the productions like Master Builder, the Fidelio, Dancing with Massaro, and they can see in AR figures coming down the stairs. Those figures are specific historical costumes from all these productions which date back to many, many decades ago. When you walk by Klathmonos stair, which you don't know anything about the relationship with the GNO, you can see various productions like Tosca or La Traviata and Carmen, because there used to be an open-air theater in 1942 during the war in Klathmonos Street. So Maria Callas performed there. These are things that we don't know. So there's so much information in the archive that needs to be spread out in the city and let visitors experience that. Or the National Theatre, which also was a place that the GNO performed by the 40s. So you get it. This is the whole idea, and this brings us to today in a collaboration with GNO, which is the collaboration we have with PNet and the Greek National Opera in a very large international consortium called 6G HoloNet. So it's the next step in Horizon Europe, and we're going to develop a special production for opera in XR. So the GNO, along with us, will write a piece and write a production in XR, which means that we have to think about many things besides the technological part. We have to think about the, if the audience becomes part of the show, if the show changes with the audience, different parameters actually, they are there for us to play with. And I'm going to finish today my presentation by leaving these few questions on the table about how many realities are too many, with a project that I cannot talk about it yet because it's going to be announced in very few months by the Greek Ministry of Culture. I'm not allowed to say anything, but I will say just a few things in order to give you the difference in perspective that we think is useful right now. So we are developing something innovative that has to do with the Parthenon and the whole Acropolis rock. But how do we develop it? I feel like we have to step a little bit back. We are exploring AI and XR and different spatial media to create a new balance between digital intelligence and physical presence. What does that mean? It means that I feel we have an overdose of AI, an overdose of VR, XR, AR, and amazing graphics. And we look at the sunset and we say, wow, it looks like AI, but actually it's a sunset, it's not AI. So we want to go back. We want to go back. So how do you go back? You use AI, you train models, but our idea here is not to do that, okay? Because AI is it's very easy to do something like that, as you know, and this is an obvious example. We understand it's wrong, but there are so many other things that it looks right, but it feels wrong, right? So the idea is we should not create a digital copy of the past anymore, I think, but we have to create a living encounter with it. Of course, you're going to say, okay, it sounds nice, but how are you going to do that? So I believe that we should not try to still be going from analog to digital like we used to do all this time. And I feel like we need to go back from digital to something which would call enhanced analog, with more materiality, physicality, tangible things, obviously enhanced, but not completely digital. So our goal is not digital immersion, it's a renewed physicality enhanced by intelligent systems. The future of digital culture is no more realistic worlds. We have so many realistic worlds. We need more meaningful reality. So off the record, if I may say, for our project, which I cannot reveal, we're going to use real-time sketches, hand-drawn sketches through AI. We create the whole environment and depict the history of 3,500 years. We are fighting with AI for over 12 months now to create this in real time with sketches. And we're also going to use the tangible materiality and physicality of marble. So marble and sketches is the keyword for that. And I cannot say more. You're going to experience it in a few months. So the challenge is no longer making heritage visible, I feel, but making it felt. Thank you very much.
Next, we move to the sector of smart and meta cities, which is also the topic of the Meta Cities project, which supports this forum. And I would like to invite Dr. Vassos Vassiliou, professor at the University of Cyprus and a leading researcher at the Science Center of Excellence.
While this is being set up, το πιο εύκολο είναι αυτό. Control P, duplicate. I think my wife would be more suitable for this audience. She's a 3D artist, and she's possibly could relate more to what Angeliki and others have said before me, George, Dimitris, Manos. I mean, I'm coming from a completely different world. I'm coming from the communications and smart systems world. And this is what I'm bringing here. I'm a professor at the University of Cyprus. I'm also one of the founding members of Science. And you see the logopegnia there, CYENS, Science, Cyprus Center of Excellence. I mean, it's a very interesting way of presenting what we're doing. We're doing a lot of things in interactive media and immersive technologies and everything that we have seen so far. 10 other colleagues could be continuing the discussion on the virtual reality and extended reality and games and everything else. But I'm going to switch the topic, and I'm going to go back to digital twins, something that we have seen before lunch, but not as a way to present things, but as a way to change things and to create actions. And I'm going to do it in the context of a real problem, because I'm sure that everybody in Southeastern Europe, Greece, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Italy, South Italy, and South France, and other countries experience this every year, every summer usually. And I'm talking about the urban heat island effect. The fact that we have extreme surface temperatures in our cities. We have a small drop of the temperature during the night. We have huge changes between the urban center and the surrounding suburban and rural areas. And that creates issues. It creates issues of health. It creates issues of energy demand. And it also creates issues of economic impact. And we are trying to see within the MetaCities project how we can help the urban designers do a better job. I'm sure that they know what they need to do, and once I show it, you will validate that. But the ability to remove even 1 degree of difference in temperature in an urban center may mean up to 20% less energy. That's huge, especially in the day and age that we are now, with the oil prices going up the way we see going up, with PV not being fully integrated into our systems. That's going to be an issue. And one of the things that we have recognized, and I think it's easy to understand, is that tree planting is the best solution we have right now. It's the cheapest, is the longest term type of solution, and it's a viable solution. It makes more sense because it has additional benefits to health and the environment in general. So, going back to the digital twin, obviously, our cities are not just buildings and roads and infrastructure. We have the physical layer, obviously. We have the digital layer. Most of the cities have a smart city component in it. I know Athens does. I know Nicosia does. But we usually forget the human factor in this, right? We take the information from the physical layer, we present it in a digital way, and then what? And then we need to figure out what to do about the humans, about the health of the humans, the comfort, the way they move, the way they interact. So the value is going to come when we make sure that we take the digital twin and we turn it into a decision system. Of course, in a cultural environment, that's not the value. The value is the aesthetics. But in a smart city environment, the value is going to come when we take the actual data, we use the 3D reconstruction, the photogrammetry, the drones, and everything else. We merge this together. We add them in interesting simulators about airflow, about temperatures, about how things may grow, about how things change when there is a drought or whatever. And then we provide urban planners meaningful information to help them plan our city for the near or far future. Maybe I'm repeating things that you know or you have seen before, but the point is to go through every step, because sometimes we only visualize, sometimes we only simulate without the real information. But if we manage to traverse all these, let's say, the decision-making chain from sensing to understanding, simulation, and then action, then we create things that have value. I used to say to my students that data is just the first layer of a pyramid. The zeros and ones, the actual numbers, it's just meaningless if you don't do further processing. Once you start doing further processing, you create knowledge. No, actually, you first create information. When you start answering questions like where, what, when, you create information. And then when you ask questions about who and how, you create knowledge. And then when you manage to understand why something happens, then you are wise and you can actually act in a much more meaningful way. Let me go back. Yeah. Now, Erpan Heat Islands. What we know so far is that we can do a lot of things, but we know that the reduced vegetation, the different surfaces, the urban geometry, whatever we do as humans contributes to this effect. The issue is how can we reverse it? Can we change all surfaces of buildings and roads? Difficult. Can we stop moving with cars? Can we stop having air conditions and other systems? Difficult. Are we going to be redesigning the center of old cities? Unlikely. So what is left there? Trees. So within the Meta-Cities project, we took the urban planning challenge. Other cities like Patras has taken the transportation and mobility challenge. Burgas has taken the smart energy challenge. We are trying to understand how we can leverage what we know to do something different. So we have sensors, we have drones, we have satellites. By combining these, we know what is happening in our cities. We know where the high temperatures are, and then we can pinpoint areas, high and low zones. When you know this, and then you combine it with the human factor, where are people going to be affected more, then you have another layer of information to act on. Consider the what has been happening in European city centers in the last few decades. The actual core has lost its inhabitants, right? And usually more immigrants have moved in, right? Because of cheaper rent and all that stuff, right? So, but the areas that are more affected by the urban heat island is actually this area. We have moved to the suburbs. We have moved to other places. So we're not really experiencing that. Our tourists and the few people that remain in the city centers are experiencing that. Sometimes these people cannot move because of financial burdens or other issues, health issues and all that stuff. So if we know that one area has a lot of that demographic, maybe that's the area that we need to tackle first, right? I'm just giving you the human concept here. So, tree planting, strategic tree planting seems to be one of the best solutions. And to do that, we are doing something in Cyprus alongside the Meta-Cities project to figure out and help the Parks and Greens Department figure out the right places to plant, the right trees, and then measure the before and after. And we call that the Cyprus Trees Initiative. It's actually a public-private partnership concept. So science is partnering with the municipality of Nicosia and a private company, an insurance company called Grave, and they are financing the digital side of things so that science can run the simulations and then provide the municipality with the answers to the questions I said before. Where to plant, what to plant, and what's going to mean, what is that going to create. The Cyprus Trees Initiative is similar, but not the same, to the Athens Trees platform that exists here, where you see all the trees planted in the last, I don't know how many months or years. So you know where trees are, you know where you want to plant trees, and then you manage the whole process. All the time while running these simulations. So what's going to happen if I plant 3 pine trees, or 3 sycamore trees, or 3 palm trees? They're different trees. They have different needs in water and air and space. They have different types of canopies, so their shade is going to be different, and the effect is going to be different. So all these things need to be taken into account. Are they sustainable in the temperatures that we are dealing with? All these ideas have to come into play. I'm going to skip this. So what we're doing in Cyprus, we hope that is going to be reusable. It's not difficult to actually do that to our 2 partner countries, Greece and Bulgaria. And then we hope to export this to the rest of Europe. And by doing that, we will help people avoid what I call the visualization trap. Because it's very nice to have a 3D representation of the city, to show things, show static information. But the point is to actually do something with it. Not many cities have managed to do that, actually. And if I were to leave you with a couple of takeaways from this talk today, it would be that climate resilience is something that we need to worry about, something that needs to be embedded in our design. We cannot be doing things and then going back to fix them. It doesn't make sense. Digital twins can help, because digital twins are not just for demos, they are for making sure that we know the infrastructure and we use it in the right way. And the city of the future, I think I saw this somewhere, is a city that senses, simulates, and then responds, or senses, simulates, and designs properly. And by that, I'm going to thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be here later. Thanks.
The transition from smart cities to meta cities will be addressed in the next presentation by Dr. Tanya Politi, Associate Professor of the University of Peloponnese and also coordinator of the MetaCities project. Tanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dido. Thank you very much, PNET, for hosting such an interesting event and for having us. You know, MetaCities supports this because the whole day today has been in the core of the things that we have been discussing, so we are very happy to be here. But of course, Vassos gave a very good introduction of what we're doing, so I'm going to be a little bit more, I guess, faster than what I was expecting, since some things have already been discussed. So MetaCities is an excellence hub, and the idea is to exploit digital twins and metaverse technologies for future cities in Southeastern Europe. And yes, the idea is to pave the way towards MetaCities. I think Vassos said it in a very nice way. We want to go from smart cities to MetaCities. We want to design our physical future cities through predictive, also participatory intelligence, and also through actions. Is exactly what he mentioned. And also, we are going to discuss a little bit about this today, and what we do, especially in Patras, and Patras Digital Twin. What we are trying to tackle is a chronic, I would say, urban mobility challenge that we have many of those in Patras, and I will try to showcase some of these things today with you. So just some things more about the MetaCities Excellence Hub. The idea is that we would like to establish these excellence hubs for future cities and regions in Southeastern Europe, and we want to use digital twins and metaverse technologies for that. And we want to work together. We want to motivate cross-border innovative collaboration. This is what we do with Nicosia, with Burkas, and with Patras. And of course, we have a Smart Avatar with us to support all this digital transformation trip. And what we are doing now is try to create some pilots that actually showcase all these ideas. And the innovation engines are actually all the groups of the quadruple helix, because we are actually would like to involve, and we have partners from academia and industry for the technology part, but also from government. I mean, you have seen that the region of Western Greece, municipality of Patras, for example, are partners in this, and the civil society, because we just don't want to make, you know, technologically feasible solutions. We want them to be socially acceptable. We want them to be solutions that actually matter for the city. So we have the whole spectrum of the quadruple helix involved in this. And with this schematic diagram, I think I would like to stress also what Vasos said before, that we're starting from the data, and with the new technology, simulations, and also all the AI tools that we have, we want to make good predictions for what we want to do, but we want to go back to the cities and create actions. I mean, this is the whole idea of the MetaCities and the methodology. I mean, we want to know what is going on in the city, but we want to predict and we want to think about what are the what-if scenarios and go back as actions in the city. But in order to do this, we found out that there are four main pillars in that. And the first one is that we have lots and lots of different and high-frequency heterogeneous data sources that we really need to combine. We need to interconnect all those with our city digital twin and have them interoperable. And this means that we really need to enable these heterogeneous assets to be, first of all, discovered and then consumed in a dynamic way from our digital twin. And we really need to synthesize this vertical copy of our city. We heard about all this digital twin continuously, possibly over the network, but all the time, because the city is changing, and we want this digital twin to reflect these conditions, the current conditions, and of course, to be able in most of the times to predict in real time what is going to happen. So at the same time, the fourth pillar, which is also very important as it was discussed today, is the stakeholders and evolving them in those discussions and in those decisions, because in many cases all these needs are changing, and we really need a continuous and dynamic digital twin that can support such an evolution. So we started this trip like more than 3 years ago, and we started, as we said, in a way that we can collaborate among each other. And the thing is that we built together an open digital twin framework, as we call it, which is the real framework where we can actually collaborate. So although we may have different technology options or different implementation choices in each of the cities, we really wanted to make sure that we can collaborate, we can develop tools, for example, that we can exchange among us, and we can, in some cases, even the instances can collaborate between them. So this is, I think this graph tries to showcase that. We had initially some use cases. Vasos mentioned about those before. In Patras, we started with the smart mobility domain because we really have some issues with the smart mobility domain. And we look into the various sources of data. So we have this three-layer architecture. We define the various interfaces. And with these use cases, we defined the components and the requirements, and we started building on that common ground for all the cities. Now, Being a little bit going deeper into the technical challenges, there were a lot of things when we were talking about dynamic updates. We're talking about dynamic digital twins. We're talking about interoperability. We wanted to have these simulation tools that they were actually can be almost real time if it's possible, automation, multimodality as far as the multiple representation methods are concerned, and at the same time, we wanted to have the vision for immersiveness in the future. Of course, at the same time, we wanted to take advantage of the high-performance ICT infrastructure, communications, and whatever it would be there, and of course, federation. Now, as I said, because of the fact that we had the mobility issues, there are many various real-time data and videos and sources that we really needed to combine together with the high-performance simulation tools. So I will try to show our initial, I think I will, okay. No, I don't want the noise on that. So what we started is with some proof of concept implementations. We tried to combine the physical representations, the computational interactions, and what we wanted to fuse is different data. Like, for example, in one representation, we wanted to fuse data from GPS tracked vehicles, and at the same time, we wanted to combine some fleet of vehicles that there might be simulated or generated by some simulator, a sumo simulator in this specific example. So the idea is that our digital twins should be able to orchestrate all these. Context broker data, various 3D rendering clients, and of course, very high-performance simulators at the same time in order to provide, in order to be able to support all these difficult scenarios that we're about to explore. Oops, sorry. Okay, good. So, out of this experience, as we said, like almost 3.5 years from the very beginning, we realized that a static pre-bundled digital twin is not a solution for a live and continuously evolving system like a city. So we want to have a digital twin that synthesizes the city continuously over the network. And the idea is that we will have a digital twin application that could describe a scene, for example, through NGSI entities. And this is one of the options. I mean, there could be many other technologies. And of course, they will be linking content and context and various resources from various sources that can be dynamically being fused into the same scene graph. So, as we said, we had various mobility issues, and that's what we tried to do in Patra. So we had some initial use cases, we had some initial cases where we would try to look, but the idea here is not only to solve these specific issues, but provide a tool that can deal with any issue that has to do with mobility in our city. So, for example, we were looking into some what-if scenarios. I will give an example of the parking supply adjustment. I mean, we would like to give a tool to either researchers or the municipal engineers to be able, for example, to add or remove some street parking spaces and see if they will make a bigger or a less big problem in the traffic congestions. And of course, in some cases, trying to suggest to the citizens some park and ride solutions that may exist in the city. And for that, we wanted to have this multifaceted, as we call it, interface. We had a different lens for our professional stakeholders in the city, like, for example, the municipal engineers, so they can set up scenarios, run simulations. But for the citizens, we can have another interface where they could see, for example, and explore different options and vote or decide what they think is more appropriate for their city. So with that, I would like to show this. I think it's the first draft that we have for our small-scale pilot in Patra's mobility twin, as we call it. It's a short video that I can share with you. If I... So you will see. So this is the city of Patras, and these green and red dots are actually the parking sensors that they are showing live what is being occupied and what is not. And these small vehicles are actually GPS tracked buses in Patras that they are moving in the city right now. And in some cases, maybe for other applications, you may really need to see the detail of some nice, I mean, we are really proud of our fountains in Patras, not of this one, because it's, the model is provided by satellite-based scans, but I think Yannis has provided this very nice fountain model that is scanned by ground-based photographs, and you can see the details on it. He even kept all the details. And even the pigeons. We really like pigeons in Patras, yes. But as we say, the idea is that we really have to, I mean, we had to combine a lot of sources, different sources, and in some cases, maybe this 3D representation, it's not the actual, I think it has been discussed before, depending on the use case. There are various options that one could use, either to interface the digital twin or to showcase it. Yes, this is. And then, as we said, we wanted to go a little bit further and see how this could be transferred into VR environment and have the city in our, this is our lab, by the way. So this is Patras live on our coffee table. You can take it with you if you want. And as we said, at the same time, you can run simulations. As Vaso said and many speakers before, the idea is that we really want to do actions to understand many things, and we run simulations, Sumo simulator at this specific example, where we can edit, for example. This is the interface that we said for the municipal engineer to add and delete some spaces, and then you can run simulations with generated traffic, virtually generated traffic, to understand what are the effects on the conjunction. For example, here on the traffic conjunction, here, for example, you can put bigger or smaller traffic, and we have added some specific points of interest where people would drive towards to in Patras, and they will continue looking for a place to park in the city, so there's going to be a traffic jam because of that. These blue small cars are generated, and they are trying to find the space into the city. So yes. It's filled, yes? And I guess, oh, sorry about this, let me just show you our final slide. Hopefully. So just as we started, in order to design our physical future cities through predictive, participatory intelligence and actions, this for us equals to having a dynamic digital twin that evolves and interacts with the city. And this, I would like to thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Digitization of manufacturing will be the topic of our next presentation, and we have the pleasure to have with us Mr. Ilias Panagoulias from Titan Cement. Thank you.
Αν δουλέψει αυτό, μισό λεπτάκι, PDF είναι. Γιατί... να το.
So, thank you for the introduction. Last presentation for the coffee break. I will try to be brief. And also it is an industry presentation after all these nice presentations with fancy sketches, diagrams, etc. So, I hope that I will make to keep your attention. So, I am Ilias Panagoulias, Digital Innovation Manager in Titan Cement, and I will try to give you some parts of our digital transformation journey in the last 10 years. So, for those who don't know, Titan is a cement and other building materials manufacturer. We have presence in 10 countries in 5 different continents of the world. So around 10 years ago, when we started our digital journey, we had a vision of creating a platform where we can use our data that we produce from our core business in order to build digital solutions that will benefit our operations. So the vision is that doing this, we would probably reinvent the way that we operate and create new digital businesses. And we are really happy that now we have managed to proceed to this direction and have tangible benefits having this platform and this way of thinking. So if we stay in the manufacturing operations, which is our main operation, we have managed to digitalize all of our plants with sensors in all of our assets, and use this data in order to create applications in different domains, from the main operations, from the maintenance, health, safety, and also the product quality. All these applications, digital applications that we have managed to develop, I think that we can say that make us one of the world-class companies in the industry, when we talk in digital tools. I will briefly try to describe 2 of our main tools that now they are installed in all of our plants. The first one is the real-time optimizer. This is a tool that using historical data from the operation of the plant is able to optimize the operation. Automatically, it's a software that automatically can set up the parameters of the operation without having the need of an operator to continuously monitoring the operation of the plant. And the target is to do this, trying to optimize the operation in the way that we prefer, either the production or the minimization of the energy. The second really important solution that we have is a failure prediction solution. There we use historical data as benchmark and real-time data in order to be able to detect potential anomalies in the condition of our assets. So we can predict quite early whenever a potential malfunction will happen and preventively and proactively fix it. This solution is, it comes with a service center, so expert humans, they analyze the data, the alerts and the alarms that we get from this system in order to find which of them are the most crucial and to recommend actions for the plants in order to avoid any malfunction and stopping the operation. But what I would like to emphasize is that these two solutions that they are in operation around all of our plants, they are not just fancy things that we would like just to present, but they have already given really good benefits, really tangible benefits in our plants. So the real-time optimizer manages to improve the productivity of our assets around 10%, and the hours of downtime that have been prevented by the predictive maintenance tool is more than 20,000 hours combined from all the plants of the group. So this is something that I think these previous solutions are something legacy for us now. So now we have trying to move to new domains. And the domain of the robotics and the physical AI is the one that we are really, I think, pioneering also in the industry. So we have developed a solution during last year that now we are trying to roll out to our plants, where we use different robotics technologies in order to collect data from the sensors that they have, thermal images, optical images, acoustic data. And all this data, we combine them with operational data, and with the use of AI algorithms, we gain information about the current conditions of our assets. So this gives us the ability to have more accurate data in order to predict when our engineers have to do some preventive maintenance actions. So that was just some of the applications that we have built during the last years. As you can see here, not only in the manufacturing, but also in the supply chain and in the customer domains, we have several digital applications that bring quite a lot of benefit in our domain. And this drives us to something quite important, to create our first digital business. So SEM-AI is our first, it is a spin-off of a company from Titan that offer the real-time optimizer and the predictive maintenance solutions as services to other cement companies around the world. And the idea is that as we create more digital solutions, we would like to commercialize them with this way. Doing all this, it is important to have the correct partnerships. We have more than 50 partnerships now in different domains, but I would like to mention one of the latest ones, which is the Titan Digital Accelerator. It is an initiative from Titan with collaboration with CERT and the International Hellenic University in order to have the resources and the capabilities to create innovative solutions in our industry. So the smart robotics and the smart manufacturing are two initiatives that we already have launched through this accelerator, and now we are going also to work with them about the digital twin. But if we think what we have done till now, I think that it is clear that Titan has managed to have the foundations in the digital transformation. And we have a lot of different digital solutions that they are already in production and bring benefit to the group. So now what we do, it is not just to bring new solutions, to add more solutions, but to try to integrate whatever we already have. So for us, digital twin, it is not just a 3D representation of our assets, and let's say just with a data layer on it, but we think it as a real-time virtual replica of our operations. So what we would like to succeed is to integrate all the different solutions that we have in a platform, having also the component of the 3D representation. So here is the idea that we would like to have one common platform that, apart from the visualization part, it is going to combine the data and the enterprise systems that we have and all the different digital solutions that they operate in the plants and in the enterprise domain. Why we would like why we see it like this? Because having this integration, I think that it is going to drive us to an next frontier and the next operating model for us. We are going to have the capability to create new digital solutions and to improve further what we already have, having this integration. Also, the virtual asset, it is going to give us the ability to test safely new solutions and also simulating the different applications that we are testing. This kind of approach is going to give us a better visualization framework, which also is quite important for the monitoring of our operations and also how we control them. And quite important is that with the emerging of generative AI, supervisory AI agents across all the domains of our operations, manufacturing, etc., they are going to change the operating model on the way that we do it. So I think that it was quite fast, but you took some things from our journey for digital transformation. Thank you.